Huh?
You like playing mean characters?
Who's mean?
Oh, you like them?
What's mean about him? I mean, the human being.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you know. Depends on the character, yeah, you know. Yeah, Billy Bob. I call him the hillbilly Orson Welles. Very talented guy.
And he's wonderful in this film too.
Yeah, he's always good. He's a good director. Good. He writes beautifully about the South. He understands. His mother's a clairvoyant and took in readings, and he's just an interesting guy. I knew him a long time.
You know, this movie, I mean, this assemblage of actors are telling an amazingly emotional story about real life, and it seems this is a throwback kind of film that we don't see enough of.
What do you mean?
In the superhero film.
Throwback.
Throwback meaning it's like the movies that I remember growing up with in the 60s and 70s. Movies about how people really live, and I don't find.
You don't think they make movies like that anymore?
Not enough of them. Not in the main studio system anymore, with all the superhero.
Well, maybe
movies.
so.
And
Maybe so.
This one just reverberates.
I think movies are better than ever now.
Really? Okay.
Oh yeah, the actors are better than ever. The young actors. There's room for everybody now. You know, if you go worldwide, I think the actors are better than ever. Directors are better. The best of the best. Guys like Coppola, well, you know, they were great, still are, but I guess they work sparingly now. You know, but yeah, I guess you could say that. I hadn't thought of that. Throwback, maybe. Yeah, storytelling, different kinds.
Mm-hmm. People
Yeah.
actually talk to each other in this movie. It's amazing.
Huh?
People actually talk to each other in this movie and say real things.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's a very smartly written script by the gentleman from St. Louis. He's never done many things, but he's came up with something very novel. He's a very talented guy. When he came on the set, he was very quiet, but he's very good with words when he uses the pen. Yeah.
Are you choosy about your roles, Robert? Like, do you get a lot of ones you turn down, or?
No, I don't get a lot in the house so much. I mean, some, not so much. You know, it depends. Yeah, I almost didn't take this because it's very negative, some of it. You know, and once I took it, I had to kind of jump in. You know, I mean, you know, some negative things about the guy. You know, but no, I mean, not so many come my way now. You know.
Are you afraid?
Go ahead.
Are you afraid to immerse yourself in characters like that? Do you say he's so negative?
No, why would I be afraid? I'm not afraid to do that. Now, once I commit to do it, I'll do it, you know.
Right.
I'm not afraid of that. I just wonder about it sometimes. Is it all worth it to show those negative aspects of somebody? But once you do it, you have to really dive in, yeah, for sure, and try to do it as truthfully as possible.
You talked about that. Robert Downey yesterday talked about something you'd said to him about that business of truthfulness, that how in documentary and in real life people talk about traumatic experiences in a different way than they do in movies. He used the phrase, they sit on the emotion.
And what's the question?
Could you talk a little bit about the truthfulness of
Well, I think that when did Shakespeare say, hold the mirror up to nature? I mean, you try to approximate life as much as possible. I mean, you know, you can't do an exact approximation, but you try to, you know, what did Brando used to watch Candid Camera? You know.
Brando did?
Yeah. So you try to watch things as closely as you can, like life, because life, you know, you learn from life, so you try to represent life as accurately as possible, as truthful. There's no right or wrong, there's just truthful and untruthful, I think. And yeah, you try. And not to force emotion. If something comes, let it come. You know, it'll probably fit if you're dealing in an imaginary set of circumstances. You know, within that imaginary set of circumstances, you find your way, you know, so to speak. You know. But I think that, no, I think the directors now are better than they used to be. And I know that sounds like a contradiction, but I worked with a director one time, one of the old-time guys said, when I say action, tense up, God damn it. Now, you don't tell that to Joe Montana in the Super Bowl, to tense up. I mean, the difference between tense up and intensity, I think. I think, you know, and so...
Is there any new director you really like that you admire, or?
Well, there are a lot of good directors around, yeah. I mean, I worked with, Coppola was great to work with, Altman, and Billy Bob. Billy Bob says, rehearsals are for pussies, only 2 takes. I could do more than 2 takes, but once in a while they work, But there, there's, I'm sure up here, there are good directors in every country, I think, every country. Because film is such an in medium now, I think, going into the 21st century. I think that, as I said before, there's room for all. And so many nice young actors now, worldwide, Not that I see that many films, but like you see a film like The Apple by the 17-year-old girl from Iran, and that's a beautiful movie. So who is this young girl? She's older now, but it's an interesting medium, film, I think, Because a lot of actors some do, start out on the stage like we used to do, and end up in film, which I find more interesting in a way than doing something 8 times a week. You travel worldwide. I think Eleonora Duse refused to do 8 performances a week when she came from Italy, to the great actress that she was, But now you catch it quick sometimes on film that maybe you couldn't catch again on stage, to recreate it. But I think that, as I said before, film is such an in medium that so many people want to jump in and partake, young people, writers, directors. I think there are 400, somebody said 400 or 300 independent films made every year. And the loss is around $1 billion because of the many that don't get seen or distributed, But it's such a, I like working out in Calgary a lot, I've done several, I love the Buse brothers out there, good horses. They find you good horses out there in Calgary, and you do what you do. It's a profession. You try to be as truthful as you can.
Did this movie remind you of To Kill a Mockingbird at all? There's that Atticus Finch reference, eh? And
yeah.
They bring back any of those To Kill a Mockingbird memories?
You mean being in this?
In this, yeah. Like you were Boo Radley in To Kill a Mockingbird.
They're different characters.
Totally different characters.
Yeah. I think.
Yeah.
Well,
the same idea about justice, serving justice.
Yeah. Justice is an interesting thing,
Yeah.
It's so relative, though, the application of justice, the legal system. Some guy will do horrendous things and have a tremendous lawyer and get off, and another guy steals a loaf of bread and gets 2 years in jail, Depends. But, that was another hero of mine, the great Horton Foote, the Texas playwright who did the adaptation of To Kill a Mockingbird. And he helped me when I was young as an actor, as did Coppola. Those two people, that I had a career, but they were kind of 2 catalysts to help me in my career, Horton Foote and Coppola. But Horton made that adaptation of To Kill a Mockingbird. Then we did Tender Mercies later and a few other things.
Tomorrow is one of my favorites.
Yeah, Tomorrow. Well, that was his adaptation.
Of Faulkner.
Horton Foote, yeah. But I wouldn't see that. Some of these young actors that burst into the editing room and take over, I say, where do they get the nerve to? But in a way, I can see, it's very nervy, but in a way, because there was a scene in Tomorrow they left out. I wouldn't see the movie for a year. I would not see it for a year.
You know that.
Yeah, because you don't have a say in the editing process. But maybe today, some of the younger actors take that upon themselves, and maybe that's good. But I enjoyed doing that. Once again, Horton Foote was a wonderful writer. We did it as a play off Broadway in a little garage theater on the west side of New York City. Herbert Berghaus studio. We did like 25 performances, and then about a year later, they came up with money to go to Mississippi to do the movie itself, you know. And that was an interesting project. Not many people saw that.
I did.
And years later, and I don't know him, I don't know, he's kind of wonderful actor. Depardieu, the French actor, took it and redistributed it.
Yes.
Tomorrow, he liked that movie, so a lot of people didn't see it, but that was a nice experience. But Horton Foote was great to work with. He was a wonderful writer. We did another movie of his called Convicts that the director, Bruce Beresford of Tender Mercies, liked it so much, although he didn't direct Convict, he gave it as Christmas gifts to people. But that was another Horton Foote. Horton Foote was one of our greatest writers, and a lot of people didn't know him that well. But he died about 3 or 4 years ago. It was interesting because when we were doing the movie Get Low, which was similar to his writing, I was addressing the first time I addressed the crowd about, you know, my death coming up and about death. As soon as it was over, my wife came over to me and said, Horton Foote's daughter just called, he just died. It was like full circle from To Kill a Mockingbird to that. But
how do you rank Judge Palmer amongst all the characters you've done?
a very interesting character, yeah. Very different, you know. It's not a Western, it's a Midwestern. A Midwestern, you know. Yeah, it's very, very...
How does he rank it, like a Colonel Kilgore type?
A little bit different.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite a bit different, yeah.
You mentioned Get Low. That's the film that convinced Robert Downey Jr. that you should absolutely play Judge Palmer.
Oh, I had heard that, yeah. I had heard that. Yeah, that was a very interesting script that Charlie Mitchell from Alabama came in and did rewrites. He's a wonderful writer. He lives in Santa Barbara now, I believe. And reworked Get Low and made it really, really a shootable film, you know. And sometimes the small budget films are very rewarding. As much as big, like this is it's a big film that I haven't been in a long time, this kind of film. Yeah. It goes all over, you know, and doesn't get lost quickly like some of the small ones do. But yeah, that was Get Low, was one of my wife's favorite films.
Day.
Pardon?
Today is Bill Murray Day at TIFF, your co-star.
Bill Murray, yeah, he and Jimmy Caan are the two funniest guys I've ever worked with. And Billy Bob too can be very funny, but Jimmy Caan, James, he's one of the few actors I keep in touch with through the years, and he and Bill Murray too, different kinds of humor.
Yeah, that's for sure.
One's very Irish and dark. Jimmy's very accusatory and Jewish from the Bronx, from Queens, and but both talented guys and both funny guys. Yeah, Bill Murray, good to work with. He played music between scenes, and yeah, interesting guy. Yeah.
Complicated. One more question. You don't seem to want to stop, and
well,
what keeps that desire in you?
I don't know. I hang out with when I met my father-in-law, he said, I don't know whether to call you father or son. He said, you hang out with younger people and you learn from them, and they learn from you, but you learn from them too. It's a two-way street. And you know, I got a few more left before they wipe the drool. So yeah, I just finished a film I directed in Utah for Texas, because the tax breaks are better in Utah, and there's a certain approximation topography-wise that can look like Texas. So we just finished a film there, and you know, I got a few left. I don't know what they are necessarily. Sometimes when you plan things, something will come around the corner that surprises you that might be better than what you plan. So, you know, I'm open, but I'm not closed yet, but I'm still open about certain things. But, you know, I mean, big leads like this that are wonderful to do, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to, I like to do cameos too, which, you know, you can come in and do. And the onus of it all isn't on your shoulders, so to speak. So,
Do you have any thoughts on how Apocalypse Now holds up 35 years later? Do you think it's still a current movie in terms of the...
well, I guess it is. They did the remake, and they put things in that had been cut out that I liked, where I saved a baby's life. I don't know why they had cut that out, but yeah, that was quite an experience working on that, yeah. With Coppola, yeah, I guess he's working on a big thing now, somebody told me.
Yeah.
I haven't talked to him in a while. As I say, Jimmy Caan's about the only guy I keep in touch with. Once in a while, Wilford Brimley. And you bump into actors that you work with, and you kind of keep up a short-term duration, friendship-wise, with them. Like this one, Jeremy, one of my sons, we keep in touch, and some with the Downeys are wonderful people to work with, just wonderful, as producers. The friendships they're very fleeting, so to speak, kind of fickle, you work intensely for 8 weeks or whatever, but guys like Jimmy I keep in touch with, but anyway, it's nice to be here again.
Yeah, come back anytime.
Yeah.
Great to see you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, good to see you guys. Yeah. I like that Chinese restaurant in the Metropole Hotel here.
Oh, yeah.
I head, whenever I hear Toronto, I think of that before the festival even. I'm heading to the Metropole. Yeah. In Vancouver, best Chinese food I've ever had. At the, I forget the name of the place. Oh, what a great restaurant.
We're just going to move to the next room.
Oh, we go another place.
Thanks again.
Thank you guys.
Thank you very
Say hi
much.
to your beautiful wife for us.
Pardon?
Say hi to your beautiful wife for
Oh,
us.
thank you. She's great. You should see her in my new film.
Is she? Oh, great.
Oof. She plays a lady Texas Ranger. There's only 2. She's trained for a year and a half at Blue Belt in Jiu-Jitsu. She's wonderful in the movie.
Still doing the tango?
Some.